myself. Oh, God, I wish I was getting in the van tomorrow. All right, I'm going to read a short part from a novel that I'm writing, and the narrator gets a little strident sometimes. So here we go. This was the beach where I got married 6 years ago. Not at sunset like now, but in the blackness of night, freezing my ass off, drunk on bourbon from a thermos. For a while I thought I would get married like some people get tattoos, here and there, every once in a while, some more colorful or significant or regrettable than others, but none that I would ever classify as all-out mistakes. I'll tell you about Marco because he was the first. Small, about an inch or so shorter than me, with the tiniest boy hips that drove me absolutely bonkers. I loved to place a hand on each of his hip bones while we were fucking, really dig up underneath them with my palms and hold on tight. And his ass, it was the best specimen of ass I've ever laid eyes on, ever. Compact with perfect muscles, not overly developed, but just ready for anything. Running from the cops, clambering up billboards, biking to any neighborhood in this up and down city without even bothering to work its famous shortcuts. He always took the straightest line, even when it was the hardest. He was when I realized that if you're having great sex in a relationship, then the difficult part has already been figured out for you by chemicals. Now I know this is opposite from what a lot of people think. People who talk about being friends and respect and values and a sense of humor and whether you want to live in the city or the country or drive a limousine or a motorcycle. That game called MASH when you were little. What are your choices? Will you marry a doctor or a janitor? Will you have 1 kid or 7? Do you live in a mansion or a shack? Who fucking cares when you feel like you are high for nearly 2 straight years because you are fucking this person? Now this is different from when people talk about how their sex is so amazing and passionate and intense, but they just can't live together or get along. Bullshit. I have had lots of sex with a lot of people, a lot, and I truly do not know what that feeling is. The way I think of it is that if you have raucous, mind-blowing sex with a person, you are definitely getting along with them. You can deal with their weird laugh or their habitual lateness or the way they slip into talking like whoever they're talking to. Homeboys, of course, always, but even New Zealanders and the Swiss. As soon as that shit starts bugging you, it's over, and all it is that you never had enough of the right chemistry in the first place. You want their dead tooth to fascinate you, their athlete's foot to become a cause that you take on as well. You can stand in the bathroom while they're taking a shit and you do not mind in the least. Maybe you even like it. Maybe you look at their shit because in that moment there is something coming out of the asshole of the person that drives you crazy. You may not want to look at their shit always or forever, but you do look at least once. You want to know. Be with the person whose clothes you want to rip off. Not just that, but the person who when you see them wearing clothes you can barely stand it. You are filled with an ache, but it's not an ache. An ache is for something that you can't have. You can have this. This is the feeling of the amp being plugged into the wall and the knob on the amp being turned all the way up, but the guitar has not been plugged in yet, but it is so ready. There is that promissory buzz of the cones and the grill, because I would rather be with that kind of person than with a wonderful partner who shares my interest in television programming or ethnic cuisine, who also grew up as a middle child or also used to be a suburban punk rocker or loved comic books as a child. Me too, also hates dogs or whatever. But maybe I can say this because generally I like all kinds of food, and TV I could take or leave. And sure, it's cool to go hiking or camping every once in a while. The outdoors are lovely. Or hit an antique store after a Sunday morning Bloody Mary. But in the end, it adds up to nothing except a pleasant experience and congenial companionship, which is nice, but you could be having that with a few million other people on the planet. There are infinite combinations of activities that you could do with any single person that walks the earth. But if you were able to take one of those people and collide with them in absolute nakedness, to touch every part of them or reach into everywhere and let them pull you open, and you want to keep doing this with them over and over and over, then you have found something that transcends whether they give a shit or not about the environment or who they voted for, if they smell like knockwurst, or they drive like a granny, or they used to masturbate their cat as a teen. As long as they are not overly cruel to you or themselves continually and on purpose, then you should ride this motherfucker out as long as you can. I used to think it was a warning sign when somebody said they hated their mother. Never trust a man who hates his mother. But guess what? His mother could have been a rotten, crazy sack of shit bitch. It happens. Or you know when people say, I don't want to have garlic breath, or gross, that person has garlic breath. But here's the thing. Everybody knows that fucking garlic smells fucking good. If you don't like garlic, there's something wrong with you on an evolutionary level. Or else, the little tiny strands of your DNA got twisted twisted in a way that's not your fault, but it makes your body chemistry revolt against what is your birthright to enjoy. And if garlic breath freaks you out, you should know that it's likely the breath you're reacting to, not the garlic. It's the breath of a person who doesn't make you utterly out of your brain horny, and if you don't want to eat the breath of the person that you're fucking on the half shell every morning when you wake up, it is over. Backpedal toward the exit so fast that you start moonwalking, and then don't let the door hit you on the front on the way out.